Hopefully it is for you.
Yes, that's better.
I've
Do you
just
remember me?
No.
Gotta have a good look.
It's been a while from the ASA.
Yes. Oh,
Dawn.
of course. Oh my gosh, Bernie Mason. Yes, friend of Sue Westaway. Oh my goodness. There you go. Oh, sorry, you've caught me at I'm just like I'm looking at the screen going out of context, but now
That's right.
And now
nice to see you.
The more you speak, I'm like, I know that voice.
I know. The perpetual voice. It's so lovely to see you again. So thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Martin dropped off. He's coming back.
Yep. So I will recording this session and also go live in Facebook just for everyone.
Hello, Val Blanche. How are you?
Morning, Val.
Morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's 7:31. We should start, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, up to you, Mandy.
Yep, just in a minute. I'm just setting up for Facebook. Yep, got it.
Okay.
So let me share my screen.
Please.
Okay.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to this lovely day out there. It looks like a nice, fine day. A bit of blue skies. Good to see for a while, isn't it? Been a bit dark for a few weeks. Next one, please, Mandy.
Yep.
I'd like to have our acknowledgement of country, thank you. The Rotary Club of North Ryde acknowledges Australia's First Nations peoples as the traditional owners and custodians of the land and gives respects to the elders, past and present, and through them to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. I now ask you all to say that Rotary thanks for good food and good fellowship and the opportunity to service through Rotary. We give thanks. Toast to Australia.
To Australia. Australia.
And to Ukraine.
Very much to Ukraine.
Any apologies at all, Gary, by any chance?
Yes, Peter. I've got Pam Wood.
Yep.
Victoria, Sandy, and Brian.
No worries. Thank you. Next screen. Morning, Annie.
Good morning. It's
a lovely day.
Yes, it is.
Man, and now, understand, Mandy's going to introduce you, please.
Okay, let me just introduce
yes.
Annie Gibbins. So Annie Gibbins is the Chief Executive Officer of Glaucoma Australia and brings with her extensive senior management experience and qualification in health, education, and business. With over 25 years experience in health education sector, Annie had developed a strong skill set in collaborative change management focused on patient-centered outcomes and data-driven evidence. Annie is a powerful force for change in the war against the blinding impact of glaucoma and 100% passionate about eliminating preventable glaucoma blindness. Annie's previous role including CEO of Australian Institute of Ultrasound, CEO of the Australasia Society for Ultrasound in Medicine, National Education Manager of the Australian Orthopaedics Association, and Senior Nurse Educator TAFE New South Wales. So I know Annie did a lot more. She has her podcast and she is a keynote speaker, which we haven't been listed out. So welcome, Annie Gibbins.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a delight to be sharing with you today. I am absolutely thrilled. And to be able to share about glaucoma, and also I can throw in a little bit about what I've been doing with International Women's Day and other things. If we have time for you to ask me some questions, I will be very happy to do so. am I able to share my screen with you today?
Yes, you can.
If you
Fantastic.
can stop share, Mandy.
Yep. Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, I'll just get that up for you and away we will go.
Could everyone mute, please, except for Annie? Thank you.
Fantastic. So a total delight to be able to share with you today. Thank you so much for reaching out. Mandy, who I have met through our combined roles. I love it when we've got places that we actually just work over the years, and we can, you know, reach out and reconnect. And I do know Bernie in that way as well. And so it's always lovely when I pop up somewhere and I see familiar faces. So as I was introduced, I am the CEO of Glaucoma Australia, which is an eye health charity, and I'm going to tell you all about glaucoma today and what we're trying to achieve. And so basically my mission in my role is to eliminate glaucoma blindness, which is a pretty big, bold mission. How can we actually limit a type of blindness? And I will hopefully share with you how. So the facts about glaucoma are that there are about 300,000 people living in Australia with glaucoma, but 50% of them are undiagnosed. They would have absolutely no idea that they have a potentially blinding eye disease, which is pretty unusual. So what would I do if I was one of those people? You know, what would it mean if I suddenly found out that I had glaucoma? I would be thinking, oh my gosh, will I go blind? How do I minimize my sight loss? What is the best way to actually treat it? I would then feel really surprised. How could this happen to me? How could I, if I went to the optometrist today, I'll give you a scenario which happened to one of our patients last year who I spoke with on an event last night. He was 43 years old, went to the optometrist because he wondered why he hadn't had glasses when all his siblings had glasses, and he thought he was fine. They then looked at the eye health of your eye, and then he then got told, you actually have severe glaucoma and you are at risk of going blind over the years if you don't get treated straight away. Now, he's just gone and driven to the appointment. How could this be true that your eye are getting damaged to the optic nerve when you don't even notice it? So obviously people would be very surprised. You know, I went to see if I need reading glasses and I wasn't expected. So I'm very, very stunned about that. I also would be very scared because, well, what if I am now suddenly like my grandmother or grandfather who did go blind from glaucoma? What if I lose my driver's license? What if it affects the ability for me to do my job? So it's pretty much terrifying for a lot of people. They also get angry, you know, well, this is not okay. This is not the life that I wanted, you know. It actually feels unfair. And so they actually even go through stages of like grief, if you like. What can I do to change this diagnosis? And there actually is nothing that you can do. And then they get very sad. This diagnosis actually sucks is a common word that they use. I now have a chronic illness. I have to put drops in my eyes every day, and which even reminds me that I do have a problem. And then I feel guilty when I forget my medication. So I then feel frustrated because I don't know who's helping me. You know, is it my GP? Is it my optometrist? Is it the ophthalmologist? Is it Glaucoma Australia? I don't know. And I also get very confused. Why am I on drops when someone else had laser and someone else had micro stents put in, which we call MIGs? So I'll tell you a little bit about then what is glaucoma. Glaucoma is damage to the optic nerve. So at the back of your eye, you have an optic nerve, and for a variety of reasons, it can become damaged. And when it becomes damaged, being a nerve, it can actually die. So when it gets damaged, you end up getting peripheral vision loss, which means it's a bit like a horse's blinker, all right? So you could be thinking, well, I don't have any problems. And you wouldn't notice until you had 40% of your vision lost before you thought, I've got a problem with my eyes. Now, if you waited till you noticed that, and why wouldn't you notice it? Because you'd look left, you'd look right, you actually, you just wouldn't notice. And your mind fills in the blanks on a variety of different diseases. When you can't see something, it sort of fills it in from memory. So if you get to then 40% of vision loss, it's then irreversible, which is terrible. It's tragic, because those are the people who theoretically will go blind. And we've got about 42,000 Australians at the moment who are blind. And the large portion of them in the current times actually could be preventable, which is the ultimate tragedy. All right. So because of this, therefore, the person, like I shared about last night, you know, they wouldn't know. They just go there thinking, doesn't an optometrist just give you a prescription for some glasses? Whereas glaucoma is not related to the glasses. All right. It doesn't mean that you need a prescription. It means that you've actually got vision loss or damage to that nerve. And so we then decide, okay, if we can find out of the 300,000 people who've got glaucoma and 150,000 don't know, we have to do awareness campaigns that are going to find the people who don't know, very targeted awareness campaigns, like even sharing with you today. And then we also need to make sure that those who do know are supported to the best of our ability. So we then have a big campaign. It looks like a bit of a superhero, which is fun. And we say every hero needs a sidekick. And what we mean by that is that every optometrist, ophthalmologist, pharmacist, person looking after a patient actually needs Glaucoma Australia as their sidekick to help them help their patient. All right, because the reason is that those health professionals are telling the patient exactly what they need to know. You know, take your drops, take them this way, take them at this time, you know, all sorts of things about technique and storage and, you know, well, you know, what if I run out and what if I miss them? We know that the health professionals are doing a stellar job. However, we also know that they're all pressed for time. We also know that patients sometimes, and that could have been you go to an appointment and then you finish the appointment and then suddenly you know all the questions that you've got. And so that we back them up. And so when the patient then comes to us, we have a few stages. At that stage one, when they've just been told, like if it was you today, that you suddenly go in and just for a checkup and they tell you you've got some damage to your nerve, you're going to be going through all those emotions that I shared before. And so we help patients, spend lots of time with them. We've got orthoptist educators who then go and say, okay, well, what happened? What was your diagnosis? And the main thing is we encourage them to go and see their ophthalmologist. The reason is that, and this might surprise you, if this was you today, would you automatically, if you saw an optometrist and they said, oh, gee, you've got a potentially blinding eye disease, you need to go and see an ophthalmologist, would you go? Now, our data says a third of people are not intending to go. A third of people think that optometrist must be crazy. They think maybe they're not even qualified. They think, oh, I'll wait till I go and see my GP when I'm there next, or, you know, or I'm actually too busy, or, you know, or this is going to cost me money. I'm not real keen about that. A whole variety of things happen. So it's really important that we get to that patient, because we actually tell them all the reasons why it would feel bizarre. They need to go and get to that appointment, because at that first appointment, that ophthalmologist will actually diagnose them. We call that stage 2. They then look at, well, what's going to happen with this person? Now, wouldn't it be great if they got it wrong? We'd actually say, oh, what a blessing. You don't have glaucoma. Off you go on your life. But if they do, we want them to be actually on their right treatment, and there's varying treatments depending on a whole lot of factors: the eye shape, the condition, the reasons for the glaucoma. For example, 90% of people have an open angle glaucoma, which is a very slow onset. 10% have angle closure glaucoma, a very quick onset. They could even suddenly have a health emergency. Angle closure will get all these symptoms. They might be able to have blurred vision. They might suddenly get halos. They might get pain. Most people, no symptoms, would have no idea, and things of that nature. You can also even get glaucoma from a trauma. For example, we've got a couple of people who got hit by a squash ball or a cricket bat, and that resulted in glaucoma. So it's not that every person, when they get diagnosed, would have exactly the same treatment. Then we get to 6 months, and like anything that you've been on a prescription for, a lot of people have problems taking that medication. So by 6 months, we realize that they should be ready for a new prescription. And so we go through all of the questions with them. Are you ready to renew your script? Make sure you do that. If you weren't, why not? They might have gone off the medication. They might not like taking drugs. They might have stung their eyes, things of this nature. And so we very much follow them up, because the national data says that within 12 months of getting diagnosed and being put on a drop, the rate of adherence, which means taking that drug as prescribed, is 36%. So a lot of people don't like doing something new. So we therefore have these touch points throughout the 12 months that I've been sharing with you that actually goes and validates all the reasons for poor adherence. We ring them up, our educators ring up people and go, how are you going with your treatment? Many people find it very difficult, and we give them a few reasons of why it would be difficult. You know, you don't like taking the drugs, or they sting your eyes, or you forgot a few times, or you actually doubt that you've got glaucoma. And so by doing that, we develop really great relationships, and our adherence rate is actually 88 to 92%, depending on two different audiences that we have, that we serve, and we serve about 30,000 people. So we've got a lot of people that we're improving their adherence. Now, why do we want to do that? Because if you go from taking your medication that's going to help you save sight 36% of the time to 88% of the time, I mean, that's really good news. That's actually saving your sight. So that helps us eventually achieve our mission by, you know, eliminating glaucoma blindness. How can we eliminate something which is irreversible but largely preventable? We can do that by getting early in our diagnosis. So this is a good news because of we've got a great website. We partner with great companies like where Mandy works. We have incredible awareness campaigns on our social media. We've got the Governor General as our patron. We've got Kirk Pengilly from InXS band. He's a rock star. That's pretty fun. We've got him as an ambassador because he's got glaucoma. We do absolutely everything we can to extend our reach and make sure that Australians are starting to hear our campaign. It is very difficult when you've got low budget, when you're a charity, to try and find some presence within the noise that is marketing in the world, right? So we are doing a great job, because 5 years ago, when I started as the CEO at Glaucoma Australia, the average person getting diagnosed was 80 to 89 years old. Hence, they've got a lot more vision loss happening. They are now 60 to 69. It's incredible. So 5 years later, these campaigns are working. We're very proud of that. We're actually getting to people. So if we get to you at 60 to 69, it means that we've had 20 extra years that we can have saved you slowly losing your vision, and we can intervene early. So I love that. The one campaign that we've got at the moment, which you hopefully have heard about from Mandy, is this Treat Your Eyes 7 Sights in 7 Days challenge. And so this is a classic example of one of our campaigns that we actually tell Australians, treat your eyes. How do you treat them? By valuing them and getting your eyes tested from age 50 every 2 years, just to check. Not only are you checking them for glaucoma, you're also checking them for macular disease and diabetic retinopathy. So it's like a triple test, which is pretty cool. So if you do that and it's on Medicare, you just pop into an optometrist. If we actually get a culture in Australia of treating our eyes in this way, like we go to the dentist, or we get our breasts checked or bowels checked or prostate checked. If you actually start getting Australians to go, oh, I actually need to get my eye health checked, then that will make even that age of diagnosis earlier, and we'll try and make sure that we get those 150 undiagnosed. It's like a needle in a haystack in a population of however many 27 million. Then how do we find 150,000 people who don't know that they've got a blinding eye disease happening? So we're therefore very targeted. A lot of our marketing goes to people who are 50 and older. We go from, for example, 1 in 10,000 babies who've got glaucoma, 1 in 240-year-olds, but we actually go to 1 in 8 80-year-olds. So we really start pushing our marketing from 50 every 2 years. You should be getting your eyes tested just at the optometrist, and 40 if you've got a family history. So if you have a family member, a direct family member with glaucoma, you're 10 times more likely to get glaucoma. So that's actually great. unfortunate for that person, but really good for us because we can target our marketing through those people, the 150,000 who do know that they've got glaucoma. We can actually tell them to tell their families. So we do that. We have general awareness campaigns. This campaign actually is on this week, and it tells people to go out and find and value their site. Go, geez, isn't it good that I can see all these sites? And we get them to take photos all week and pick their best 7 in different categories and upload them to our website. We also ask them to encourage people to support them, sponsor them, not to take photos, to actually help them save sight by giving money to Glaucoma Australia. So that's all happening at the moment. Oh, Mandy's even got a t-shirt. That is super exciting. And we currently today, as of last night, we'd raised $55,000 towards our $300,000 goal. So, you know, we've got a lot to go, but we're open till the end of March. So we're excited about that. So I won't do the hard sell on that, but Mandy will tell you how to go to our website, 7sites.org.au. You register, you tell your friends, you fundraise, you find, snap and share. You have a lot of fun around your neighborhood, particularly now that the sun's actually finally come out. It's been the worst week ever, of course, to have a outdoorsy, let's go out and have some fun. But that's okay because it's open for the rest of the month. And we will, you know, people are being incredibly generous anyway. Why do we actually want to do a awareness fundraiser? Because we're a charity, because we actually require $101.5 million a year to actually be able to service the 30,000 people that we do. That's just the hard reality. So we want to do 2 things. We do need to fundraise and say it as it is. If you want us to continue, you know, saving sight in this country, and we're world leaders actually in what we do, then, you know, it's just a little donation. The reason we've designed this campaign is because it actually affects everybody. It doesn't matter if you're an optometrist or an ophthalmologist, or you're a local Rotary club, or you're a kid's school who's got a parent with glaucoma or something. Then everybody can do it. It's really easy, and it's very visual. And so we're very, very happy with that campaign. So this campaign, or that little clip, has been playing at a whole lot of different, well, we've sent it to TV, but we only get the freebie spot when we can, so it doesn't come up very often. That's okay. But we also have it playing in, you know, GP practices while people are waiting for their appointments. We have it, you know, in shopping centres. We've partnered with a group called Shopper Media, and they can play it on their little light box screens. We partner with anyone who can. So basically my job as a CEO is to actually go, how do we get on a limited budget this incredible message, this opportunity for people to be able to, I'll just stop my share so you can see me better, for people to get engaged in our campaign, hear about it. It's a call to action to do something very easy, which is to go and get your eyes tested. And so, yeah, so our marketing is all over the country, and actually little in-house announcement to your beautiful Rotary group is that David Kosh from Sunrise, Koshy, has just last week agreed to be our ambassador moving forward. So it's taken me 4 years to get Koshy.
Yay.
So I'm like, woo! Because why is that exciting? 1, well, he does have glaucoma, but 2, if you get people who are a profile position, and let's face it, he is an iconic Australian of our of our actual demographic. So why as a CEO do I want to, have Kirk Pengilly because he's a rock star and people go, oh my gosh, the rock star from INXS, I saw his message, so I went and got tested. It makes a difference. The Governor General does, and older people go, oh my gosh, I heard the Governor General say something on radio for us, or a little TV or a social clip, and they listen because they relate to him. Other younger people don't. Koshi will be next year at Glaucoma Week and also Men's Health Week, Seniors Week. He'll be on Sunrise going, oh, by the way, guys, I've got, everyone's got something. I've got glaucoma. How about you do this challenge? That makes a difference of a charity like ours being able to earn maybe 55,000 to suddenly be like a September, which earned 14 million last year, just because of what we call influencers. So there's a lot of things I could share about today. I wanted to just quickly give you an overview of, well, what is glaucoma and have you even thought of it? Do you have your eye health on your radar? And then also, do you know that you go and get your eyes tested? Do you know what charities do? Do you know, how we go about, if you like, the mechanics of, well, trying to get our message out? And so it wouldn't matter if I was the CEO of, Leukemia Foundation or, Glaucoma Australia or Diabetes Association. I've previously done other organizations as well. We've all got an issue. We're here to solve a problem. The problem is, for us, we have a amazing situation. Actually, we've got the perfect recipe that, if it is largely preventable, this is a good news story. I couldn't have that message if I had children's cancer on my plate, right? But this is something that, gee, if we get the Koshis and the Governor and rock stars and other influencers on board, and then Glaucoma Australia, a little charity, just kind of punches above its weight and produces really great quality assets, they will be shared globally. And that's suddenly how it doesn't happen in the first year, but 5 years later, 10 years later, you get a Movember or a September or something that actually Daffodil Day, and people go, I don't even know when it started, but we have it, So the 7 Sites Challenge will be like that. And people will just go, oh yeah, I treat my eyes. So it's about having big vision as a CEO and a company and a board behind me. It's about saying, let's work out strategically, how do we go about doing that? And then actually putting all the pieces together to make sure that we do that to the best of our ability, because then we can then have our core purpose, which is actually phone hotlines all day long with our education team, just serving people, helping people. And our desire is that those people actually never pay anything. Okay, that's the model. I want that person who's in shock, like those pictures, sad, stress, I can't even think about it. This is going to change my life. I want them to be able to have free services with us for life. And they can do that because we then have these other ways of raising funds and having general people go, oh, I'd hate that to be me. I'm happy to give you $20, $50 a year, even, like not much, because it all adds up so that we can continue on our services that way. I don't know if I've got any more time because I do chat away, but I can tell you also about other things that I do. But over to you, Mandy. You keep me on track.
Okay. So I would like to show the T-shirt. I think not everyone's seen it. This is for a couple of years ago. Yeah, from work. So we have a glaucoma week activity. That's why I meet Annie from work. Yeah. And also, as what she mentioned about, I'm actually a patient of a glaucoma. So I do understand what she's talking about, and then early detected is very important. And I have it like more than 15 years. So, and I have my family as a background. So I know that is something that I need to aware of. And then, as you say, usually it's the elderly people who will know. When I go to see the specialist, I'm the youngest one in the group. Always the reception know me straight away because I'm the youngest one to walk in, and everyone just look at me, what are you doing here? Sort of thing. So it can be a younger person that can be detected as well. So so that's why I would say that Glaucoma Australia did a lot of great work that actually have influenced a lot of people to be aware of their eyes, because we only have one pair of eyes that you can't replace. Yeah, so you do need to treat them well. So that's probably is the message from that association. And also, I think we mentioned about that we have the International Women's Day this week. So also Annie is one of the amazing lady that we did a lot of movement and collaboration. So, and also regarding the Treat Your Eyes program, I have it on my Facebook. I'd like to share with everyone. If you'd like to donate it for me, that will be good, because I did put the photos on to say how many sites we can see in the local area. So it's amazing if you open your eyes to see it. So
yeah, absolutely. And I thank you for doing that. And that's a classic example of, we have a campaign and we're already connected with Mandy, and then Mandy knows about the family history. She knows that African and Asian eyes are more at risk as well. We've got risk factors. She knows all of that just because she is connected with us. And so people get that message, share with their own communities. And so, yeah, I'm really thankful for that. I'll tell you a little bit. I've just got a couple of minutes, if you like, on International Women's Day and the Women's Week. So I also do a lot of stuff. I'm actually called a global women's empowerment coach these days, and I've also got a consulting business that I coach women from around the world to actually start up and scale up and dominate in their business. And so I'm a goodwill ambassador, and I've got actually quite a lot of little things that I'm supposed to be called. But anyway, besides that, it gives me the opportunity that I can then speak on a variety of summits. And I've been on a lot of summits, women's summits around the world. And so why is this important? Not to just get your photo on lots of really cool badges. It's actually to realize that collectively there's a movement, and there's a movement through the world of women actually rising up. And why is that necessary? Because our statistics are still so poor, particularly after, from the post-pandemic, we were making a lot of gains. And then during the pandemic, actually women first self-sacrifice, lose their jobs, because more women by far are part-time or casual workers. We also had to have in families, someone had to homeschool the kids. And so women actually left, even those ones who chipped away to, more senior positions, actually left to be able to do that. And so, and then now it's sort of harder to sort of get back into those sort of positions. We also have, 50% of men earning more than women over $120,000 a year, and 50% more of women earning less than $60,000 a year. So women, although you kind of go, well, aren't those ladies bossing us all around, and aren't we all equal these days? No, women statistically actually even earn $24,800 less per year for equivalent jobs. So there's still gender pay gaps. There's still a casualization of the workforce, which results in insecurity, and then therefore has a role and effects of safety and security. It also has increases of domestic violence issues against women, and it has other issues that we're doing about just actual equality in different parts of the world. So in Australia, when we're really blessed, this is great. But if you're a woman in a large part of particularly Africa, other areas, you might need to spend 6 hours a day getting water. Okay, because that's the woman's job. How can you then be educated or have a business and sustain your family if you're unsupported? You might be having, in a lot of the world, girls still take, 4 days off school per month just because of what we call period poverty. They don't have sanitary pads. And so that affects their entire, if you map that out, of their education. So there's lots of things going on globally that senior women are trying to champion together to actually... That's all right. A lot of women like me are championing together. We're always, you don't have to be super fancy and amazing. None of us are. We're just women who actually accept the honor and the responsibility that we have certainly been blessed. We've worked hard to get to where we are. There's no doubt about that, but we're also blessed in so many ways. So there's creating a movement. And so I've just been appointed the Australia Chair of Equity and Equality for the United Nations, which is amazing. And so with that, I'll be creating an army of women in my country, like other women in countries in every country of the world will be getting a chair. And so we will be having this ripple effect throughout the world, very strategically, about raising the benchmark for women. It's not about getting, a lot of the stuff you'll hear about is like trying to get more people into C-suite, and that's great, but that's a few people. If we actually raise the benchmark of what women are actually, how they're living and how they're getting supported and how they're educated and how they're kept safe and secure and empowered globally, you'll end up getting those women into those positions through that movement. And so that's what we're doing from a grassroots, and that will make a difference, because when you hear hear things like, well, you know, you've got gender quotas and it'd be great to where's a good woman in politics. You're not going to get all these great women if you haven't supported right from the grassroots. You haven't nurtured women. You're not now a 7-year-old girl in a school and see a picture of a female astronaut on your wall. You know, you're not seeing, you know, women leaders. We've still only got 10 global leaders who are women. Out of all the countries of the world, you know, so we're still only got, when I started, when I was a kid, it was 4% of female CEOs. There's still only about 28 in actual percent of senior positions. And why do we want senior positions, not just C-suite, but just management? Because it influences change. And so we can say that we want change, but actually the people who have power to change are the people who are not just on a board or in a senior role. They're actually people who can make that decision happen. They can have their voice heard. They influence other people, like the governor, like the Kirks, like myself, and actually go and make that happen. And so where I sit at the moment, a lot of my work, and I'm doing more and more of that as I get older, is actually to go, you know, we want to actually make a difference. We want to make change. We don't want to talk about it. We're not anti-men and we're not aggressive in our nature. And I actually hate all of that kind of stuff. It actually says, you know what, let's actually just go for equality. Let's go for one world, appreciating our differences, appreciating our diversity, and actually uniting together to say we can do this better for the women who are doing that, living life now, and also future generations, my daughters, your daughters, our granddaughters. And so it's exciting. Sorry, I get a bit passionate about women stuff.
We've got to pull you back in now, Annie. Put you back in.
That's it. I'm all done. But anyway, there you go. You can feel my heart and soul.
Thank you.
And I thank you for the opportunity to share on that today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions at all? Any couple of quick questions? Anybody? No? Barbara? Oh,
I've
yeah.
got one.
Yes.
I've got a quick question. Annie, thank you very much. And I envy you going over to Bruny Island today, being a native of Hobart.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Quite often people get mixed up with the OP words: optician, optometrist, ophthalmologist.
Yes.
What's a simple, quick explanation of what each of them do?
Oh, okay. An optician is a optical dispenser. So they're a certificate for qualified practitioner, if you like, who, when you go to the optometrist and they put you on the visual field test, or they'll help you with your glasses, your lenses, your frames, that course is a certificate for course. And so they help the optometrist. An optometrist has done a science degree at university, like you become a physio or an occupational therapist or something. So they've done a 5-year science degree and become an optometrist, but they don't, well, they can now diagnose glaucoma, but they don't operate, for example. They're not a surgeon, they're not a doctor. They're fantastic practitioner, which is an optometrist, right? So they're able to check all the health of your eyes, and most of their work actually is on frames and dispensing. Then you have an ophthalmologist who is actually a doctor. So you become a doctor, and then you then specialize in whatever. They specialize in eyes, so they become a ophthalmologist. And then even ophthalmologists then specialize again. It's amazing. The more educated people, the more, like, seriously insanely amazing they are. And then they then become a glaucoma specialist or a cataract specialist or a corneal specialist. So like everything, so if you had glaucoma, you'd see you'd find your way from the optometrist to the ophthalmologist, and then you would then usually find a glaucoma specialist because of your specific condition.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you. That's great. Barbara, get you to say thank you, please, Barbara.
I need you to unmute.
Yeah, you need to unmute first, Barb. Barbara, are you there? Can you unmute, please?
Yeah, first.
No, she can't hear us. No.
Yeah, we'll get her. We'll get her.
We'll get her.
Technical difficulty.
There she
Here we
is.
go.
Yeah.
How you going, Barbara?
Okay, right. Annie, a word of thanks. In 1935, Rotary's founder, Paul Harris left several permanent reminders of his international visits to Rotary clubs, including the planting of trees in Australia. Some were planted near North Sydney over Miller Street, North Sydney. In this great tradition, Grow Trees hopes to green Australia and perhaps the world, one tree at a time. Since 2007, Grow Trees has been a partnership between Rotary clubs and land care group Grow Trees and are given as gifts. For guest speakers, thank you for a job well done. Congratulations on a birthday and so on. Each recipient receives a numbered certificate. We encourage recipients to visit and hug their tree. Currently planting in Lithgow. Here's a tree planted by the Rotary Club at Chatswood Sunrise and sent to the recipients. Green trees grow Lithgow. Congratulations. Thank you for a job well done. Barbara Lee and North Ryde Rotary Club.
Thank you, Barb.
Thank you, Barb.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Barb. Hey, Bob, you got that little certificate there? There we go. There you go.
Oh,
There you go, Annie.
wow. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
And we'll send it to you.
Yep, it'll come to you.
Not the
The
tree.
certificate, not the tree.
Yeah.
When I go to Lithgow next, I'll definitely hug a tree in Lithgow.
Yeah, you will.
Lovely.
I'll hug one in Tasmania today, just to get excited.
Fabulous.
What's it like down in Tasmania at the moment? Nice and cool?
Oh, it's pretty fresh. It's about, it was 11 degrees yesterday, but considering the swamp that we've had in Sydney, it's I was so excited to see a little bit of sun come out. So no,
Yeah.
Tasmania is always gorgeous. I love it. So
It is, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely.
Brunei Island's
It's a national
one of the better
treasure.
spots.
Yes.
Brunei
Absolutely.
Island be lovely too. Thank you very much, folks. So that's the end about that part of the meeting. We just have our normal meeting now. That's now on. So if you want to hang around, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, we'll say goodbye to those who need to go. Thank you.
All right.
See you,
Thanks,
Annie.
So
Annie.
much. Thanks for having
Thanks,
me,
Annie.
everybody.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
See
Thanks for
you.
meeting.
Bye.
We'll go through our normal meeting now. Thank you, folks.